Hey everybody, this is Zeteo. I'm doing my first video demo of Evo Evolution. It's my first big time map on Starcraft 2. I've done plenty of stuff on Starcraft 1, mostly after the period of which I played Warcraft 3 for a bit and tried messing around with that map editor too. It was a lot easier back then. It was, I could finish the map in a week, and in Warcraft 3 it would take months, and then with Starcraft 2 it takes even longer because it's so complex. So I'm pretty happy that I actually got something done and out that's really fun to play. I enjoy playing it a lot, and so do some of the people I've met playing it. So I'm putting this video out there so that more people can come into contact with it and just know about it and hopefully play it, because I am mostly a player. I like to play maps, and I try to design maps that I want to see, that I want to play. I've seen some other evolution type games out there. This it's kind of like the same idea as, like, I don't know if you've played Darwin's Island for Warcraft 3, but you basically are a creature that's you evolve. You sit there and attack other creatures and eat them and level up and get more stats to put towards more things. Like in Darwin's Island, it wasn't so much that you got to pick the stats that you got. You were just kind of given some, and you had to make do with what you had. And then there was Evo Evolution, which, again, you don't really get to choose too much of what stats you get. You just randomly get a creature, and sometimes you get the shit end of the stick and get a slow guy that just dies. So I wanted to put the control to the player and allow them to pick their own stats. That was the main focus of this map. So the object is to be the last man surviving, or the last human creature surviving, because there are a lot of artificial intelligence out there, a lot of creatures that not only move and attack, like they run into combat and move out of combat. They pick up food, they use abilities, they have certain behavior patterns. Each creature is a little bit different, so I'm very proud of the fact that the intelligence of them is pretty good. So you got to be very careful. You can't just sit there and attack and expect to kill anything off without really looking at your hit points compared to his as you're attacking him, and figure out if you need to run back, or if you can take him or use an ability. Sometimes you'll just be caught off guard, and that's just sometimes it happens with certain builds. So you got to be careful with what stats you get. So yeah, normally this game does not, you can't play it single player, but I made a special version for this video so that I can just play it alone. Otherwise, I think the recording software along with Starcraft and the map would just be a little too strong for my computer. So to make the viewing a little bit more, a little bit better, I decided to make this version. So yeah, I actually do constant updates. If I see something imbalanced, I try to update it that day or the next day or whatever. If nothing big comes up, I try to just release, wait for a bigger release and just release like a mass new update of new stuff. Like right now I'm on my 8th mass updates. We're on actually 8.9 because I've done a lot of, or it's actually 0.8.9 as it's still in beta. It's not really, it's not complete. It's always going to be a work in progress, and hopefully it'll be good enough to enter the contest that's coming up at the end of the month here. Blizzard's Rock the Cabinet contest, which I hope to do well in, because this is my true passion in life. I feel I really like mapping. I sit here and spend, usually like around 8 hours, sometimes up to 12 hours just working on this map, while I'm unemployed right now. So, it's just a really awesome hobby of mine that I love doing. I don't really have any programming skills, but I taught myself how to use the editor, starting with Starcraft 1, and made some good maps. So anyways, we better jump in here. I don't want to make the video too long. So a countdown has started. There's also a group here at the bottom, Evo Evolution, that you can join. In the info part of the group, there's a link directly to the map, so it's actually a really nice, easy way to to find the map and play it and host it or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to pause here to talk about that load screen. The load screen is basically just a picture of how to play. It can be a little bit confusing, and I know some computers load the map rather quickly, so I understand that a lot of players might not be able to read it. But yeah, it basically goes over a few things. Like this is a larva, this is you. This guy here is me. Starting out, I actually have this just spawned behavior, which basically makes me invulnerable for 5 seconds. So I don't get spawn killed. Let's see what else. The map is randomly generated with doodads, which normally if you randomly generate doodads, they just kind of act as sprites. You can't run through them. So I actually had to create units under them, invisible units that create like a path blocking thing for it. So it took a lot of time to figure that out. Actually, not too long. It took like a couple of weeks, but and I got all these doodads that randomly generate. So every time you play the game, different doodads are going to be there, and it's not just like oh, it has 1 in a 30 chance to spawn this specific doodad. No, it actually spawns in groups. Like it decides like, oh, this kind of terrain is there. Like, oh, it's grass. Let's maybe put a tree there, and then it spawns a couple things next to it. Sometimes, other times, just random stuff. And in some cases, it spawns some of the same stuff. So you'll see some of the same rocks clumped together or around the map. You'll see some of the same trees clumped together around the map. Other things change as well, like fog and water. The coloration of the water changes from, it changes between blue and green. Fog gets more or less dense, and then there's a night and day cycle. And the night and day cycle actually affects the map a lot because it does it changes how well you can see. It changes like if you're, well, no, I won't get into that, but basically at night it's just harder to see for the most part unless you're a vampire. But I'll talk about a little bit more about that later. So let's get this game started. Pause. Turn on the sound and music. So starting out, you get this tutorial. Mine's turned off because I've played a certain amount of games. I've played, well, let's see, 20. If you play over 5, the tutorial will automatically turn off. You can turn it back on if you want, or you can turn it off before the 5 game mark. But it'll basically run through a lot of basic stuff that you need to know to play the game. So the first thing it actually tells you is you have these Evo points, which you start with 4. And if you see this flashy button here, this evolve button, it's hotkeys B. You open this. Oh, I gotta run from this guy really quick so I can talk about this. It opens this menu, and this menu basically gives you stats. You can get muscle or fats or awareness, and each one corresponds to a main thing that it does. Like muscle gives mainly damage. It gives a little bit of life, but mainly damage. Fat, on the other hand, gives more life, a little bit of damage, and then awareness gives mostly sights and a little bit of damage as well. So everything gives you a little bit of damage right away. So just make sure you get some points into whatever. Basic build, I'm just going to do some muscle and then maybe 1 fat, so I have some hit points on me, some meat, so I don't die right away. And so right away, actually, you get this ability, Listen, starting out. What Listen does is basically makes animal noises for animals that are near you. So it has a chance to. It doesn't always. So you can't really base too much on it, but it's just a nice little indicator to decide what's around you. If you hear a noise that corresponds to a higher level unit, like a tier 2 unit, then maybe you want to just run away, or you don't have to. You can be a little cautious depending on that. Tier 2 being, you get tier 2 at level 5. Every 4 levels, you get the next upgrade. Which, tier 2 is agility. You're allowed to get agility, skin, or leg strength, or intelligence. Agility gives you better attack speed. Skin is armor, and leg strength is movement speed. all these things are great to have depending on what build you're going, but since I'm going a very basic build, I'll probably mostly get fat and muscle, maybe some agility and armor, and a little bit of leg strength. Intelligence is something that is a little bit more difficult to use. First off, it's, you know, if you notice, like, around the map here is all black, you can't really see the terrain, but what this does, what memory does, you know, intelligence grants a little bit of memory. You'll be able to remember some of the terrain a lot more. You know, the more you get it, the more memory you have, so you can see the terrain a lot better. You know, remember where you are, remember where certain food is, if it's still there, maybe where certain plants are, things like that. Plants are, they're rather difficult to kill early on, so you gotta be really careful with, you know, you want to avoid them basically until you're a higher level. And then you can kill them and get some good experience from them, but at the beginning stage of the game is basically just avoid them. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and find something to kill. Let's see if I can find something up here. There's a guy. It's Eva's. He might be a little too strong for me. Might have to run away. Yeah. Oh shit, I didn't run in time. That was just kind of bad on my part. Okay, so I'm just gonna run around and get some food in me right now, because that does give a little bit of experience. Grapes, some good vegetation. There's you know, all the different vegetation doesn't really matter. All it matters is you're eating something. You know, it gives you health, it gives you hit points, things like that. Here's a piece of meat. I'm gonna eat. It's a good way to regenerate hit points. Otherwise, if you can't find food, you can stand still. I'm gonna actually just damage myself a little bit here. By using my run ability. But as you can see, I don't regenerate while I'm moving. By staying still, then I regenerate. So it's very important to sit still once in a while and just regenerate a little bit. If you move on to creep, you can regenerate a little bit quicker. Energy goes up a little bit slower on creep, but hit points go up more quickly on creep. So it's good to find it if you can. If you can't, just, you know, do what you can. You know, because the most important thing on this map is to stay alive. You know, like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen players that are, you know, like, way above everyone else in level, and then they're like the first to die, or maybe not the first, but like, you know, they die rather quickly because they're just so aggressive with their play. You know, whereas players who do well on this map are players that basically sit back and make sure that they're going to stay alive. They regenerate hit points, they eat food, and all that good stuff. So I just got another muscle as I leveled up. It's kind of important to level up, I mean, to use your stats as soon as you level up, because it's the only way you get stronger. You can, you know, if you wanted to, you could save up some points for tier 2 or tier 3 or whatever, but if you do that, you're going to be weakened until then, so just keep that in mind. So yeah, here's, like, you know, like I was saying before, this rock doodad, I can't run through it. I can run around it, but not through it, because it's there, you know. So, just a little bit of something I had to do for that. Okay, so, what else? Okay, so I have these slots here, which, you know, you can't really use right away. Like, if you notice, if I eat food, it shows that I'm consuming it. It has like a cooldown clock. And I can't eat food until that clock is done with. That's kind of to simulate, like, oh, food's in your stomach, it's digesting, you know, you're full right now, you gotta wait to eat more food. So, just keeps you back a little bit from eating all the food in the world. Alright, so I leveled up again by eating that food, and I got my first ability. Okay, so I got Critical Strike. You earn abilities as you get these stat points. I just got more muscle. Like, I actually have 5 muscle right now. Muscle is the way you get Critical Strike. Critical Strike, you know, it's a big, you know, damage dealing type thing. It's actually not passive in this game. Usually it's a passive ability. In this game, it's something you click on, and then your next attack, if it's within 3.5 seconds, it'll deal double damage. So if you're engaged in combat, it's, you know, you can use it and you just do this bigger attack. You do twice as much damage. So I would actually do like 42, 43 damage. So I'll go ahead and use it if I see somebody I can use it on. Where'd that guy go? I just saw him. Oh. Okay, well, I don't know what happened to him. I guess I'll show you the ability later. So yeah, I don't think I... Oh, here's a guy. Okay. Oh, I only did 1 extra damage because that's all he had, but you know, it displays basically the number of damage you do. Also, when you kill something, it displays how much experience you get, or if you eat food, same thing. It shows the experience. Let's see. Let's get some more fat. Let's just try to survive longer. Okay. So if you notice down here, there's this string of numbers, stats 5, 2, and 0. That corresponds to the upgrades that you have here. So my first one's 5 because I have 5 muscle. My second one is fat, which I have 2 of. I don't have any awareness, so that's still a 0. When I get tier 2, which is actually going to be my next level up, I'm going to be getting... There'll be a string of 3 more numbers, which will be the next 3. Oh, I gotta maybe run from this guy. This guy's maybe a little bit... He's the next tier up, so I gotta be careful. That's something you're just gonna have to play the game and figure out what is a higher or lower tier. It's not very, detrimental to playing the game, but it's nice to know to just help you out a little bit. So yeah, AI units attack each other. They shit, I had a hard time picking up that food. This guy's just gonna freaking kill me. I'm a little bit down and out because now I'm taking some time to do this tutorial instead of play, but so creatures are actually quite a bit stronger than I am. I just gotta be a little careful. So yeah, in this game, it's not really about like you just run around and kill guys and eat food and that's all there is to it. You actually gotta do a little bit of micro. You gotta move in and out of combat. Have these computer units attack each other, and then maybe you can run in there and get the last hit or whatever. I'm gonna use critical strike. There we go. 32 damage, 34 experience from that, plus 12 from eating the food. What's that guy? Oh shit! He just used an ability on me. I gotta no. He used his stomp ability, which makes it difficult for me to run away for a few seconds. So he just kept wailing on me and killed me. Here's a plant that ensnares you. It's a vine plant that basically if you get too close it ensnares you and you can't move for a certain amount of time, and it does a little bit of damage. So just gotta avoid these plants early on like this. So yeah, this map is mainly about like avoiding dying by just avoiding things that are going to kill you, like I just avoided that plant, and avoiding bigger creatures, and then making sure that you regenerate hit points and move in and out of combat a little bit. Like if it's 1 versus 1, either you're going to attack or you're going to run away basically, but if there's other creatures nearby, you can have them fight each other so that you don't take damage. I'm just going to have to run through here. So that you don't take damage, and then you can attack them while they're attacking each other, and then hopefully, you get some good hits. Like that guy just came up to me and he was basically dead already, so I just killed him. So it's about little gains like that. It's not about sitting there and just wailing on someone necessarily. So yeah, it's kind of fun. If you notice, while you're digesting, you have this this buff here. That it's just labeled digesting. Like it slows you down a little bit, like your stomach's full, you're weighed down a little bit, you're a little sluggish, so it gives you a little bit of negative bonus there. Oh, and I forgot to well, I guess here I just got my my tier upgrade, my strain upgrade. So now I can get agility and skin and leg strength, which basically, like agility is attack speed, skin is armor, and leg strength is movement speed. I'm gonna get a little bit of movement speed. Yeah, there we go. I can move a little bit faster. You're a little bit slower on creeps. You just gotta be aware of that. You're running around a little bit. Something's chasing you. Oh, I actually got charged too. So charge is just like charge in Starcraft. For Zealots, it's something you can turn on autocast. Now autocast is on. You just right click it to toggle that. But yeah, you basically charge forward if you try to attack a creature, and you deal a little bit of extra damage. It's kind of an ability that helps out players that wins a lot of fats. You know, if you do a lot of fats and you have a little bit of movement speed, then you'll probably get charge. It's just to help out because fat generally you don't use much damage because you're putting a lot of points into damage instead of, into fat instead of damage. So it's just to help you out a little bit. I'm gonna use it right here. So I just charge forward, attack this guy. Let's use some critical strike. So yeah, I just avoided those two so I could attack this guy. This guy's weaker. And now I'm just kind of moving in and out of combat. These guys are attacking each other. I can. Oh, I didn't get the last hit, but at least I didn't die, so that's important. And some more health. Kill this guy. Oh, he stunned me with bash. Whoops. Oh, that was a mistake. I didn't even realize I was on my last life. I just kind of ran in there and killed myself like an idiot. But anyways, the game can be fun like that. You know, it's not just sit there and be mindless about it. Just, you know, you got to think about it and play the micro game a little bit. There's other things like food bonuses. Like if you see it on the leaderboard here, there's different ways to play. There's you start off with as actually an omnivore. You can eat either plants or meat. You can eat everything. You can kill everything. Doesn't matter. But if you want to play in a specific way, you can eat just meat, and eventually you'll get bonuses, a carnivore bonus for eating just meat. You know, you're staying away from vegetation. It makes it difficult to play because you're you know, the computer units will run around and pick up all the food, and you won't be able to eat half of it because you only get meat. And it's difficult, but it has a payoff. You get attack bonuses. You get a couple of negative bonuses, just like everything else. Like stats give negative bonuses as well. And yeah, so there's carnivore, there's omnivore that you start out as that don't give bonuses, and then there's herbivore, which means, of course, you're eating only vegetable or vegetation, fruits, vegetables. So it's a lot more running around the map. You can kill units if you want, but you know, just eating a lot of plant food for health, and that way you get certain bonuses like movement speed. You get to run around quicker and avoid units a lot easier and things like that. There's two other bonuses, which is Scavenger and Vampire. Scavenger is basically you don't kill anything, you just run around the map and pick up food. You know, it's a way to play. The game is not about being the top killer, it's about surviving. So if you can survive just running around, like, so be it. You know, it works, but you know, sooner or later something will probably kill you. You know, some of the computer units get ranged attacks and things like that. We might start seeing. Let's see, and then there's Vampire, which is the opposite of Scavenger, in which you're basically not eating food. You're only killing units. Now this is the most difficult out of the four to play because you basically just don't heal from food. You just don't pick up any food, and you have to, you know, sit back and regenerate on creep a lot. And on top of that, what the Vampire bonus does is it gives you negative health regeneration. So you're actually slowly dying. So it's quite difficult to play, but the payoff is you get a very nice life steal, which, you know, every time you attack a unit, you get a little life back. You know, so the idea is like you're slowly dying, but someone used roar, which is really loud. It's meant to scare you away a little bit. Actually, that's what the ability does if you ever get it. But yeah, if you're a vampire, you basically have to keep hunting. You have to keep killing stuff. If you don't, you will die. So it's very tricky. There's other ways to play, like there's certain builds you can do with range where you you know, don't get so much damage early on, but you you know, save up points, or you know, just end up getting more ranged attack later on. And you know, those that has its advantages as well. There's intelligence now, which, you know, for a little while didn't have any abilities, but now I just implemented some, which like the name suggests, it, you know, it makes your creature smarter. Like you can start using things like you know, when you pick up food, you don't eat it right away, you can carry it, you know, so you can hold on to a bunch of food and you know, use it during combat, things like that. or you can carry and use, eventually you can use rocks and sticks. If you see on the map, there's these rocks and sticks just kind of littered around the map, and you'll be able to use them as weapons. You'll be able to throw rocks, or you can equip a stick so that you get increased damage. Which it's not fully developed yet. It's actually something that's being worked on right now. So at the extent of it, you'll be able to pick up different types of rocks and different types of sticks and tell the difference between them, and some will be better or worse for certain things. So just good to note and have for now. But eventually, I'll give you a little insight here since you're watching my video. Eventually, you're going to be able to combine these items. So I don't know if any of you that are watching this have played like a wilderness survival type map, or a troll tribes, or whatnot, or I think the new one is the kobold tribes on Starcraft 2, where you basically get items that are on the ground and you combine them to make weapons and buildings and things like that. And that's where I want this game to go. I want it so that you can choose to be intelligent, and you can either get it early on or later on. And if you get it too early on, like maybe it's you don't put enough stats into damage and hit points, so you die a lot, so it's risky. Or you get it later on and it's less risky, but other players maybe already have it. So then these players are already like building these tools and stuff, and they just kill you with them, and so it's going to be all based on like time and like what strategy is good for what and things like that. Like already I'll tell you, like a lot of damage will counter a lot of armor. So armor's great for surviving against, I guess just in general surviving, but like mainly against things that don't have a lot of damage, since you negate a lot of the damage, and then you basically just survive for a long time like that. But you can be really slow that way. Otherwise, you can get speed and do herbivores, but that's countered by range. Like ranged creatures, if you're running around really quickly, you don't have a lot of hit points, because speed takes away hit points and hit points take away speed. So if you're running around really quickly, trying to get different food sources, avoiding combat, like somebody, sooner or later you might run into someone that has a high damage like ranged attack and just kills you. Let's see. There's lots of different builds you can do, basically. You can do muscle and skin, which is damage and armor. Or you can do like hit points and attack speed. So like you're this big, beefy, giant guy that has this really weak attack, but you're attacking really quickly. It's just like kind of fun like that. Lots of different options is what I'm trying to say. Lots to do. And yeah, again, the AI just keep leveling up. Like this guy here is level 17. He's an Ultralisk now. He started at the ground zero just like everybody else, and now he has actually quite nice ranged attack. Unfortunately, he's not using it. They do switch. They do use ranged attack and melee attack. This guy just for some reason didn't. It's not like the perfect system, but sometimes. So that guy's just an easy kill in a way. Let's see if I can find another big beefy guy. This guy's using his ranged, but it's not very strong yet. It's only 6 damage. He'll boost it up over time. There's this Hydralisk that's kind of fast. He has 5 in movement speed. 41 damage, so actually his hit points are super low. His armor's low. He'll die fast, but he'll do a lot of damage, and you'll be able to run away from you if necessary. So it's he's gonna be strong too. One of the things that happens is like food and items, like things on the ground will move if somebody uses roar. I kind of just decided to keep that in just because it's funny, but if someone uses roar, like all this food just starts like running around really quickly. I'm gonna have to maybe change it so it's not quite that fast, but oh, here's this really big guy. This guy's got a ton of fat. Unit size changes with how many hit points it has. So that guy just has a ton, so as you can see, just a massive guy, but he didn't have enough. He just kind of died to this queen here, who has a lot of hit points as well, actually, but at the same time a lot of damage, so this queen just kind of won out. And yeah, so at the top here there's 2 buttons. There's donate and forums. Forums, it just kind of gives you this copy and paste thing that you paste into your web browser and it'll bring you to the forums. Same thing to this donation. The only reason why I even put up a donation thing is because, like, you know, this is my true passion. I really want to do it, like, if I could for the rest of my life. And, you know, I'm not really in it to make money, but it'd be nice to have a little something, you know, to help me survive. You know, because right now, like, you know, like, I'm having a hard time because I don't have a job, and that was the only real reason why I got this map out. So, I mean, if I was able to, I would definitely do this 24/7, like, just mapping all the time. Because I love it. I love just creating ideas for games. So yeah, what else? One of the next things I want to do is add like a button or something maybe down here. That's like, oh, here's some tutorial builds. You know, like, so you can click it and it displays like, oh, here's a certain build you can do, you know, to help like new players out and all that. So. Players aren't as lost. Like, hopefully a lot of new players see this video though, because I think it'll help out a lot. So yeah, this is my map. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you're watching this, let's see, what would be the best way to find the map? Well, wherever you're watching this, there's probably a link to, like, there's a Starcraft link thing where if you click on it, it's, you know, you can't copy and paste it into a web browser. It's basically a link for Starcraft. So if you have Starcraft 2 open, you can click the link, and it'll open up like Evo Evolution. You can look at the reviews. You can look at screenshots and all that. You know, all the info will be posted there. See, otherwise there's the Evo group. I don't really know the best way to find that. I guess you would have to search Evo Evolution. Also, there's, I think, there might be a link for it on the game info page. But if you join the group, it's a lot easier to find the game. There's a link in the info part of it. Also, I post all the updates. Like, I always say, like, oh, you know, this is coming out soon, or, you know, like, oh, this got a little delayed. Things like that. Like, you know, what I'm working on currently. You know, just so everybody is in touch with it. So it's a good way to keep up with the community, or find games, or just discuss balance. If you want to, you know, give me a note or something, you can email me at Zeteo Arcade. That is Zeteo Arcade at live.com. There should be a link for that as well somewhere. Hopefully you can find that. Otherwise, you can just put it on the forums too. I'm totally game with whatever on the forums. And discuss strategy, discuss builds, what you like or don't like, what I could improve upon. You know, already a lot of players have given me some info as to like what they don't like or what they do like about the map. Certain bugs, things like that. Like, just yesterday, someone was telling me like, oh, you know, like sometimes the map spawns like a whole bunch of giant trees, and it just looks like a giant forest. You know, like, I don't know. Well, it's kind of hard to see this tree here, but. If you can imagine the map with a whole bunch of these everywhere, it'd be hard to move around in. So I mean, I took that in and just said, okay, you know, I made it so it doesn't have a chance to do that. You know, it still spawns them, but not as, you know, it doesn't have a chance to litter the map with it. You know, things like that. So I'm constantly bug fixing and all that, and you know, and yeah, I hope you guys have fun playing it, and good luck. This is Zeteo signing out.